Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show Off the Court. I'm Paul Geigle, and I'm here each and every week with Viking head coach Kevin Brogioli. And every week this season, every Monday night this season, sit down with the coach and we talk about last week's games and the ones coming up. But Coach, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We had a big week last week. After the break, the holiday break, 14-day layoff, we go at it with Old Rochester, the Bulldogs. And Old Rochester is coached by Steve Cavallo, and a little rusty, to say the least, in the first quarter. But you guys came out gangbusters in the second quarter. You outscored or 19-6. The bench, I think, was a big, important element in that game. You guys had 29 points out of your 65 off the bench. That's outstanding.
Yeah, I think lately I'm getting more confidence in those players coming in and doing the job, and as they get more time, they're starting to step it up as well. But we certainly were rusty after that 14-day layoff.
Yeah.
I didn't think we played particularly well Friday night. We were able to get the win, but it was not a pretty win.
No.
It wasn't a thing of beauty by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and mentioning the bench, the guy I've been noticing that's been emerging as a plus for you guys is LaTroy Hairston. Big time. 12 points that night for you guys, not only offensively, but his physical presence.
Right. Troy's solid. He's a big body. He's energetic. He keeps the ball alive on the offensive boards, and he's been progressively getting better as this young season's going forward.
Right, and you just mentioned to me a little while ago that I know Jeff only had 3 points and Quentin 4, so he only got 7 from the big men, but Jeff was struggling with the flu.
Yeah, right after Christmas, Jeff had been sick, only made a couple of practices, he was in bed with a fever, and we look forward to him recuperating quickly. He looked better in practice today, and for us to do anything, we need a healthy Jeff Hood.
Yeah, he's a big force for you guys, for your inside game, get him rolling. So you guys won that one 65-41, and then we move on to the Burgo tournament over at Greater New Bedford Voc, and strange 2 days, but but anyway, you guys had a tough going early because you had a guy by the name of Brady Holding, who was lighting it up there for a while.
We knew how good he was. We knew what we wanted to do, and we had 2 good defenders draped on him most of the night, and we made him work. But he made us pay. Every time we made a little bit of a mistake, he would seem to bomb away and hit a three-pointer.
I think he had 5 3-pointers that game. He had 28 points overall. Just a load to cover. So who had their assignment early?
It was a combination of Chris Siassi and Anthony Abbott. Every 2 minutes we wanted to put a fresh body on him. It was tough. I think we actually helped Classical the next day because he looked tired the next day. He was missing some of those shots he was hitting against us.
I noticed Chris came out early. You pulled Chris out early. Was he having a real difficult time? You thought Anthony would?
We had gone in with a game plan of every 2 minutes switching. So that was pre-planned and just to try to keep a fresher body and try to wear him out. I didn't think we wore him out too much, though.
No.
He was in the zone.
Yeah, and they had a 9-0 run in the second quarter, so they took the lead 37-27, and then you guys got right back into it because Darian was having a big game.
Right. We had called a timeout when we got down 10. We said, hey, relax. There's a lot of time left in this game.
Right.
Let's start chipping away, and then Darian started chipping away.
Right.
It seemed. And we made that 9-0 run at the end of the quarter to bring it within 1.
Yeah, and then at the buzzer, Mr. Holding launches a 3-pointer from Fall River, and that you say, what are you going to do?
It was a 70-foot shot, jump shot, whatever, but it was
nothing but net.
Nothing but net. I know, that's when you worry. It's one of those nights.
Right. So when you went in the locker room and talked to the boys, what did you say? Stay on the game plan.
I just said our defense started to pick up there in the second quarter. We started to run a little bit more, and I thought that if we kept the pressure on them, we'd be in better shape at the end of the game, and we'd be able to get fast break opportunities at the end of the game. And ultimately, that's what happened.
Right.
As we started to pull away in the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, I thought we got our transition game going.
Right, and we mentioned Darian Fernandez, who had a tremendous night. 27 points, 8 assists, 3 steals. I thought he had more steals, but I want to mention a couple of plays that happened right in a row. I think it was in the third quarter. He came out of a scrum. He wiggled his way out like he usually does. and launched these a long outlet pass to Mason. Mason
Yes.
broke, pretty play,
Yes.
pretty layup, and
Yep.
then again, you get a turnover. It happens right away, 2 in a row,
Right.
2 pretty plays in a row, and then a third time, about a minute later, they tried it a third time. Darian's pass was a little too much for Mason to handle, but man.
Yeah, and it makes a
like,
difference. If you can score quickly in bunches like that, that demoralizes
Yeah.
the opposition and gets us going.
And I think, like you said, I think you wore Mr. Holding down, because I think with a couple of minutes left, was at the free throw line down to the right, he actually had his 2 arms on his hips. So I figured he's starting to run out of gas finally.
He deserved to be tired.
But anyway, you guys went on a 13-2 run in that fourth quarter, 13 unanswered points, and you ran away for a 69-57 victory for your 5th straight. You held them to 1 field goal out of 12 in the fourth quarter. Incredible defense.
Yeah, I was happy with our defensive effort. We didn't maybe score as many points as we liked, but I thought defensively we did a good job, especially when we had to towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and LaTroy Harrison another 10. Mason gets 13. He's been playing some terrific basketball.
He has.
For you, hasn't he?
Mason's looked good. He's just like the Energizer Bunny. He's in great shape.
That's
and
what we call him.
And he goes hard.
Yeah. And like I said, your bench again, 17 points from your bench. You got to love that. So day 1 in the Burgo tournament turns out good, 69-57. And then the second day, we got Barnstable. Now, Barnstable had an interesting game against that team from New York.
Yes.
The team from the Bronx, very athletic team that came in. And we were up there watching like you and your coaching staff was. And kid by the name of Jason Eddy lit it up for Barnstable and kept them in most of that game. Barnstable lost 66-51, but that kid Jason Eddy's poured in 25 big points. So I talked to you up there, and you told me you were going to put...
We're going to put our best player on their best player. Darian Fernandez had asked me the day before, let me cover him. I can cover him, Coach.
It was Darian that asked you.
Yep, and it seemed like the logical matchup. And as long as Darian can stay out of foul trouble, I thought he took some pride in his defense and really worked on him, especially in the first half. He did a nice job. I think he held him scoreless in the first half, maybe.
You're right, he did. He shut him down in the first half. And that was shocking to me when I looked at the stats. I said, man, he shut him down. And there was a little moment there where they both had some words and pushing and whatever, and they both got a tee. But I thought Darian calmed down right after that, and
he did.
They both did, yeah.
They both did, but I think Darian. I think it kind of fired Darian up in a good way, and it just made him play defense even a little bit harder.
He was all over the court. He had a bunch of steals again. Gets 22 points, and Anthony Abbott has another great game. Not only defensively, but he got 8 points from 40 off the bench.
two 3-pointers. So we were kidding him about that, and he was kidding us right back. Anthony is coming on. He's playing. He's going to start earning more minutes. He's a very good defensive player, and he's relentless on the offensive boards for his size. He's just a tough, old school kind of player.
And would you say now he's losing his football legs and getting his basketball
legs back? Yeah, I think so.
Back.
I think he's finding the basketball rhythm a little bit more each and every day, and he'll definitely be a big contributor for us down the stretch.
Jeff Hood had a strong game.
He did. He's feeling a little, like I said, started to feel a little bit better, and did a nice job on the boards.
Yes, he did.
Scored early, down low, and so he's coming back around too now.
Yeah, 11 points. Your son Sammy has been, ever since, he didn't play in the North Quincy game, but ever since then he's been contributing off the bench.
Right, and Sam won't make mistakes. He won't dazzle you with his flash maybe, but he'll generally hit the open shot, and he plays smart team defense.
He's not afraid to throw up a 3.
No, he's not. He knows that's what he's in there for.
Right. So and Mason, only 5, but Mason's working hard at his guard position. He's becoming a favorite of mine. I love watching him emerge as getting experience and really taking control of the game. When Darian's got another assignment, Mason's controlling the basketball for your team. So
he is, and I think on a given night we have different guys that are starting to step up to score now. So it doesn't have to be everyone doesn't have to do it every single night on the offensive end, but as long as they're giving us the effort defensively, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
the Barnstable game now, Wareham wins 58-40. The astounding thing, the coach was mentioning rebounding. Offensively, you had 20 offensive rebounds. I mean, you play a team that gets 20 rebounds off on the offensive boards, you're going to have a tough night.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And we told them that was an area of emphasis beforehand. We figure when we have Quinton and Jeff in the game together, and you throw in a LaTroy or an Anthony, we have people that can hit the boards, and that's what they have to do.
And the fun thing watching Barnstable is they had a big transfer from Norway, right? A kid who hasn't played too much American basketball, 6'7", about 250 pounds, more like a defensive end than a center. But he got 4 points.
He did, and that's okay. We'll give up those 4.
I was watching poor Quentin underneath, and the big boy, Sean Skagstad, the announcer had a tough time pronouncing his name. He kept calling him Big Sean. He just kind of backing in, and poor Quentin's got his arms up, told the referee, but he wasn't having any of it. But it was an entertaining game, a big win. 6 in a row. 6 in a row.
6 in a row and 3 wins in 72 hours. So I'll take that. It's a good 3 days' work.
I know. And so tomorrow night, we're going back to Southeast Conference play. You're playing a team, Bourne, that was hot early. They're coached by Scott Ashworth. And they were undefeated in the South Coast until they ran into a hot Case team, the Case Cardinals, last week. I think that game was in Case.
It was.
78-45. Mm-hmm. Wow. Case just trounced them. Case Cardinals are hot. So the big guns for Bourne now, we got Jovia Navar, the senior guard. The Andre kid, I think he's the captain, senior captain.
I think he's probably their best player. Mm-hmm. That's who we will focus a little bit on tomorrow.
Okay, who's going to get the assignment to guard him?
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. It depends who else they start tomorrow night. It could be Anthony Abbott. It could be Darian as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've got another good-looking senior, Robert Leavenworth. He's another captain. He's a good-looking player.
Yeah, and he's played for several years for them. He's not the fastest kid, but he's sneaky smart on the basketball court.
And a junior by the name of Joshua Curry, and two twins, Sharif Smith and Shamir Smith, 2 junior twins.
And one of them just had his appendix removed a couple of days ago.
Wow, and so we won't be seeing
most
him.
Likely, I don't know which one it is, though, but most likely he won't be playing tomorrow.
What kind of style does Bourne play?
Bourne generally, when they play most other teams, they like to press. They go full court zone press, oftentimes back to man-to-man. I don't know if they'll do that against us or not. It's hard to press Darian Fernandez. So I'm not sure. We prepared for man defense. We prepared for zone defense. We prepared for pressure defense, so whatever they throw at us, we'll be ready. And
it's a home game. We're back at home for the 2nd game in a row. And then we got another tough one. Friday night, we're going back to Greater New Bedford Voc, back to the field house.
The good news is we've just played 2 games there, so it shouldn't be like that much of an advantage, I don't think.
It shouldn't be that quiet either, right?
No, it shouldn't be. I think there'll be a big crowd for that game. Voc had been undefeated in the league until they got upset by Fairhaven last week. And, I mean, Voc was getting a lot of media attention, and the Standard Times was talking them up, and they were. And I don't know if they were looking ahead or not, but Fairhaven can stay with any team because of the defense they play. But the Voc matches up with us. They have the size, they have quickness, and they have a good scorer in Corey Pont, who might be going for his 1,000-point that night.
Yes, he is. He's edging towards that 1,000-point club, and I think Corey Ponte, Pont you call him? Yeah. He averaged 19 points a game last year.
Yes.
Let's get back to you just mentioned Fairhaven coming on with their biggest win of the year, knocking the Bears off. Sophomore Cam Charette. And we're going to see him again. Yeah,
apparently they shot very well from that game from the outside.
22 points, I think he had. He's a good-looking sophomore.
Yeah, he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing him in a couple of weeks. And Greater New Bedford Voc, they're coached by Boomer Rodriguez, who was a assistant for 9 years under Rob Pimentel. And Boomer's doing a great job. Like you said, Corey Pont is their big scorer. They also have a big man, Derek Lewis, who will be given a tough assignment for either
Quinton or Jeff.
And Jeff Hood.
Yeah, one or the other will be on him. Because they bring another big guy off the bench, Portalance.
Yep, Nick Portalance, right? Yeah, he's almost another 6'4", 6'5" forward,
so
right?
That's why they can match us size-wise. They have a good point guard in Mania, who's a very quick guard. So they have they have all the pieces to be a quality team.
I think Menyer's their 3-point guy, right? He's launching a lot of 3-pointers.
He does. He'll shoot the 3, and he leads them in assists as well.
Mm-hmm. And what style does
they generally like to run, which we always would rather play a team that likes to run because we think that plays to our strength. But they'll run and they'll play man defense mostly and look to push the ball. So
two big games coming up.
2 big games, yes.
6 in a row for Wareham Vikings, and big game Bourne tomorrow night. That's Tuesday and Friday night in Greater New Bedford Voc for the game against the Bears. 2 big games, and we're looking forward for both those games. Coach, thanks for coming in again tonight, and we'll be back again next week. We'll see you next week. This has been Off the Court. I'm Paul Geigle, Coach Brogioli, and stay tuned because we're going to be coming right up with Wareham varsity basketball in the South Coast Conference right here on WCTV.